Welcome to the Daily Update Podcast, where I'll go over the action in the market for Wednesday, June 25th, and we'll see how things look for Thursday, June 26th. The S&P 500 closed pretty much flat on a percentage basis, down just a few points, effectively unchanged. Strength in megacaps and semiconductors kept the index from slipping further. Meanwhile, the NASDAQ 100 hit a fresh all-time high after generating a recent golden cross, powered by those same megacaps and semiconductor names, though the broader market showed signs of weakness. The S&P opened strong above 6,100 and hit 6,110, but struggled to maintain momentum. It drifted down toward the daily pivot at 6,084 and finally closed pretty much unchanged. Trading volume slipped back below average, signaling low conviction, with no significant late-day moves by the smart money. Megacaps and semiconductors were the stars of the day, propping up the broader market. Tech and growth sectors outperformed, while value stocks lagged. This divergence highlights the market's reliance on a handful of heavyweights to drive gains. From a technical perspective, short-term momentum indicators, including the Williams %R and CCI charts, are improving, but intermediate and long-term oscillators remain mixed or even negative. Growth-to-value ratios are also improving, particularly for the large caps, with semiconductors outshining the broader tech sector. On the economic front, Fed Chair Jerome Powell's testimony offered no surprises, reiterating prior remarks with little market impact. Geopolitically, NATO's commitment to a 5% defense spending was noted, but tensions in the Middle East, particularly between Israel and Iran, saw no major developments. Economic data painted a mixed picture. New home sales fell sharply by 13.7% on a month-over-month basis. Mortgage applications did edge up slightly in the latest week, rising by 1.1%. The dollar continues to weaken, and interest rates are still below 4.5% for the 10-year yield at 4.29%. Market sentiment remains positive with the current reading at 59. High call volume is impacting the skew index in favor of speculative action, which could signal potential risks. The NASDAQ 100's bullish percent index sits at an elevated 70, indicating extreme bullishness, but is still positive. Financial conditions are loosening, but weaker than expected economic reports are tempering enthusiasm. On a positive note, corporate buybacks are increasing, providing a supportive backdrop for stocks. Moving over to sector performance, the tech and semis led the charge with standout performances from NVIDIA up 4.33% and Microsoft hitting another new all-time high. Large cap growth stocks are also doing well. Staples, industrials, utilities, real estate, small caps, and mid caps continue to underperform, with the latter two struggling below their 200-day moving averages. Communication and discretionary were slightly down, but held up better. Looking ahead to Thursday, June 26th, key economic data will be important. Expect reports on initial and continuing jobless claims, durable goods orders, and the third GDP estimate, as well as pending home sales and the advanced international trade figures. While these releases could move the markets, all eyes are on Friday's core PCE report, a critical inflation gauge for the Federal Reserve. Seasonality may play a role as well, with the end of June and the start of July historically favorable for the NASDAQ. However, geopolitical developments, particularly in the Middle East, could introduce volatility. The S&P remains positive but directionless from a trending standpoint, with mixed momentum and no clear bias. Watch for stronger conviction to signal either a breakout above resistance or a potential pullback. In conclusion, the S&P 500 held its ground above key moving averages, helped by megacaps and semiconductors, but low volume and a lack of a clear trend highlight investor hesitation. Thursday's economic data and geopolitical updates could help set the tone, with seasonality potentially favoring gains. I hope you found this podcast helpful. For more in-depth analysis and commentary, the full-length daily video update is available on YouTube and Rumble right when the market closes each day. To access the videos immediately after they are available, or to access the daily newsletter, please click on the links below.